What is something you wish you knew before you started dating? 1. A man will be in your life if he wants to be. 2. Know your boundaries and expectations. Don't compromise on them. Way to just KO my recent anxieties in 2 points. That thing where one overthinks every decision and replays every possibility, yeah. Still boils down to this for me, but I never had the words to explain why I walked away and now I do. Preach. That one red flag is usually enough. And that my intuition never failed me. I should have listened. Every time I make this mistake thinking I'm being irrational. One trick I learned is to picture what's happening to you happening to your sister bestie. Are you okay with them being treated the way you're being treated? No? Then you deserve better too. I, 23 female, would date and be in relationships, but I never felt a connection. I thought there was something wrong with me. I recently found someone who I easily fell in love with, and now after 6 months, I'm still blown away how easy it is to prioritize him and our relationship and how much I want to improve myself. So my takeaway, with the right person, it's so easy to fall in love and still be yourself. Don't compromise on that. You'll find someone. This is really relieving to hear. I am currently in the same predicament. I'm almost 25 and have never truly liked someone. Guys have been into me and it's flattering. But I've never really had a crush or fallen for someone in the romantic sense. Totally thought something may have been wrong with me. Haha, but this post gives me hope that maybe I just need to give it some more time and hopefully I will still be able to feel what it's like to really fall in love. I never truly fell in love until I met my fiancé when I was 33. I spent 5 years in a mediocre relationship because we weren't unhappy, just content. But if I'd known of the insatiable joy and passion and love I feel now was just waiting for me, I'd never have settled for anything less. I want to reiterate that you don't have to be the cool girl. When I first started dating in my teens and through my early 20s, I believed it was so cool to be aloof and act like I didn't really care about the guy, the relationship, what we did, what was said to me, and etc. I did things that I didn't really want to do and didn't do things that I really wanted to do, because I wanted to be chill and go with the flow. I look back and think what a total mind maze it must have been to date me. I would make the guy wait the right amount of time to respond to his text calls because I didn't want to be too available. I would say I didn't care except everything else outside of the words I said told the person that I did care. I was really into the idea of just being one of the guys. I am actually very feminine and always have been. I love lace, pink, floral print, and the way silk feels on my skin. Younger me would say guys don't like a high maintenance girls and they want to date someone who is just one of the guys. You know what? That isn't true. Some men like feminine women and some don't, but what they really don't like is being jerked around. Be honest and communicate your feelings and who you are to the person you are dating. You won't end up wasting your time or anyone else's. Edit. Just want to add, more importantly than what some men like and some don't, I am the woman that I like and love and I invest into what I like and that is what matters. Boundaries and how to enforce them. I was lucky to have had great respectful boyfriends before my last serious relationship and so was naive enough not to know when and how to enforce boundaries with him. So it ended up being 5 years of progressive controlling and emotional abuse. You don't have to fight to want to break up. You don't need some big blowout or some betrayal. You can, at any moment, decide that this is not the person for you. They can be nice but little things do matter. They don't have to be evil for you to want to break up with them. They can be a good person, but not the right person. That he wasn't over his horny stage. I feel like he needed validation from other women to make himself feel hot or whatever. I caressed his body, rubbed his feet, massaged his body, cooked for him, nurtured his soul, and his mind. That wasn't enough. Now we're over. I just keep thinking about how he used to always say what I did for him, not what he liked about me as a person. I think your sentence pinpoints what was wrong. It sounds like he was in it for gratification rather than emotionally bonding with someone. It's rough to have that realization, but you'll find someone with a full connection to you. That line hit home. Know your worth beyond their words and actions. Just because they're nice, doesn't mean they actually treat you with the respect you deserve. My ex would always compliment me on my looks and do nice things for me, but when it came to actual discussions, opinions and personal issues, he always had to be the smartest one in the room, no matter the topic, or my issue suddenly became his issue, and not in the he cares so deeply way, in the my life has been harder so you really shouldn't complain kind of way. When I did talk, he never genuinely listened to provide advice or comfort. I could always see the gears turning in his head about how he was going to make this about him or try to sound like he knew more about the topic. I always remained quiet or at least reserved because I didn't want to be considered dramatic or have a confrontation that would lead to losing who I was convinced at the time was the only man who was ever going to love me. There were a ton of red flags that I chose to ignore because I was just so happy to have a boyfriend who called me pretty and brought me food sometimes. That relationship definitely taught me what I don't want out of future relationships and how to recognize some of the usually well-hidden indications that someone is not as great as they seem. How to stand up for my wants, needs and when to call it quits with someone. I let way too many guys linger around even though I knew that they weren't a good fit for me. This really awesome guy I'm dating is always asking me multiple times about everything, because I have difficulties with voicing my opinions or needs and he noticed it pretty early on. I promised him to stand up for myself more and I'm trying. The red flags you see at the beginning are going to be the reasons why you broke up at the end. Feeling a vibe is fine, but if you guys are not compatible, it's not going to work. Love language is also very important. This is so true. Looked over their stubbornness in the beginning, only to find out that he was too stubborn to actually work on problems. And you guessed it, a lot of them started with him being too stubborn. You don't have to continue dating someone, or marry them because you are afraid of hurting their feelings, embarrassing them reacting angrily, disappointing their family, or out of fear of being alone. They will be okay, and it's never worth settling for what you don't want. Being single and a little lonely sometimes is way better than being with the wrong person. My orgasm matters just as much as theirs. I don't owe anyone my body under any circumstances. Attraction needs to be mutual. I am not a usable item that's just hoping to have an owner. Being attracted to bad boys is not good for you emotionally or mentally. They are usually just nicely wrapped bags of dog shit. I wish I didn't shut off my requirements, you can say, or expectations thinking it was too much. Wanting care or effort or a patient partner isn't unrealistic apparently, lol. Being with someone because you like how they like you is not the same as being with someone because you like them. Mixed signals mean he is not interested or not ready. Save yourself the heartache and frustration and move on. Never beg for a man who broke up with you. Don't have sex with someone until you are so ready that you absolutely have to have them. Anything less is pressured or negotiated. Don't self-sabotage plus draw inferences from delusions. Similarly, don't be needy. This is accomplished by focusing on your own path and allowing the relationship to evolve organically, if it does. If you have boundary or value, for example, I don't like my partners compulsively following and liking Instagram models. Don't let men gaslight you into thinking that you're being crazy while they continue that behavior. You should feel confident and comfortable in your love. Friendship and mutual respect is fundamental to partnership. If it doesn't feel right, if you're always upset or uncertain, if you don't feel secure, something is not right. Never settle. That no matter how much you work on yourself, you will discover new things about yourself that maybe you aren't proud of, and it's okay to have such flaws. Also, that you never should settle for anything if you're not happy with it. Don't feel the need to play along for the sake of your partner. Clear communication is key in all relationships. That when you're looking at someone through rose-colored glasses, red flags just look like flags. It can take a lot to learn to take those glasses off and look at someone for who they really are. Upvote for BoJack Horseman reference. That cheating can be asymptomatic. In that I mean sometimes when someone cheats on you, there are literally no signs of it. They are not accusing you of cheating. They aren't being sneaky on the phone with you. They aren't disappearing for an hour or going out often out of character. Sometimes getting cheated on can absolutely blindside you. And that can end up be worse than being suspicious of it, because you'll start to doubt even simple things that make no sense because of that experience. TLDR, cheating doesn't always come with warning signs. A complete lack thereof can be just as, if not more, damaging than if there were obvious signs. Relationships are not contractual. You can exit one for any reason, or no reason at all, whenever you wish. You are allowed to decide for yourself, and you do not need to convince anyone at all. I wish I'd known this when I felt stuck in my last relationship. It wouldn't have dragged on for so long. And I would have been able to be free to love who I truly want to love much sooner. Lesson 1. If the guy can't commit after a while, he's just not interested. The take-home message is, don't be afraid to walk away. Lesson 2. Never fall for a guy too fast. I fell for 2 guys too fast. The outcomes were we broke up either because we didn't get along or there's no chemistry or emotional connection. What my ex told me. I reflected on my experience and concluded that falling too fast is a pitfall of infatuation. There's no foundation being built, so making the connection with the guy unstable or weak that can't stand any challenges. Lesson 3. Don't rely on a guy for emotional need, at least not a new guy you met. It's not sustainable to rely on someone I haven't built a connection with to give me the emotional support. Building a strong friend and family network is more reliable. I'm an introvert and my family is in another country, which means I can't always receive my emotional support from friend and family. I'm learning to build a stronger network with friends and family though. Most of the stuff most people might already know, but I'd still put it out there to share my experience. Hope this helps. D. Oh boy, where to start? You don't have to be attached at the hip. Lay down boundaries early. Your life comes first, especially if you're young. Compromise is good, but not if it compromises your happiness, safety or comfort. Always use protection. Have a friend to call on backup. Always have your own transportation to the date site. If they start bad-mouthing anyone and not reflecting on any of their own faults, big red flag. It's nice to keep it civil, but you don't have to be nice to appease someone who's pushing you. If you feel you have to compete with another girl, if their friend groups are toxic, or if they show any sign that they don't know who they are as an individual, run. Things don't come to those who wait. I never had anyone ask me out or be interested in me, and I just wrote it off as me not being attractive, which is true. But once I turned 19 and actually actively looked for dates, it was a lot easier. Wish I'd known that. Well, I needed this. I keep saying I'll just wait, but in reality I never leave my house unless I have a reason to. Maybe I should start dating again. Don't put your partner on a pedestal. Even if they are the most amazing person in the world, you will be disappointed when they inevitably fail to meet your unrealistic expectations. Not only that, but your partner will constantly feel the stress of trying to be the person you think they are, instead of the person they actually are. Note, this is not to say you shouldn't have standards, but don't make your partner out to be the faultless, perfect angel they're not. Everybody's human.